Hello, everyone. Welcome to Arbitrage Trade Analytics. This is Royce Wells. It is September 6th, 2020. I still can't believe it's September already. We have just released our newest versions of the indicators, and basically I'm going to show you guys all the way from top down what we did and what we changed, and basically how we hope to have made it a little bit better for you guys. First off, in 10.0, let me get rid of a little bit more. I'm just going to get rid of everything, go all the way back to the complete basics. I think I saw someone in the waiting room. I did. All right. So arbitrage bands 10.0. First off, we've added a few things. We've added go dark. So basically, the bands actually change color and their opacity change when you go dark. So if you're a fan of going darker screen, you can do that. And that's the first thing I'm going to do here, just to show you the difference in the way that the bands show. So if you're doing dark mode, you have the ability to see it in dark, but if you are dark and you turn it off, it basically, it doesn't show it. It goes back to the original format. So if you like it dark rather than light, then by all means have it dark rather than light. We made it for you for that reason. Let's see. All right. In addition to making the dark, well, that's great. That's not exactly the reason there's a 10.0. So in this guy, I'm going to actually go back light, just because I prefer light, but I gave you guys dark. All right. So inside here, we've added another band. So previously, how we typically run the system is basically we go until we reach a new extent where we can't go any further, or if we can't explain when something is going further than we're expecting. So I'm going to show you AUD/USD, and I'm going to show you AUD/USD on the hourly time frame, and it kept going and going and going and going, and we're like, what's going on? So typically, when I saw this in previous iterations of the bands, that means there was one other band above it. So as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, there's another band above it. Let's see if we can find it. And sure enough, there is the next bigger band, bigger than the Apocalypse band that we're playing with right now. So
what is it called?
Infinity band.
Infinity.
Because pretty much it's huge. If you notice, that's from April. This is an hourly chart. That's from April to September. That's like 7 or 8 month trade. Actually, April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 month trade. Mm-hmm. Basically, it crossed over and it stayed over. And yeah, so this is the mother of all bands. It pretty much goes on forever. And a bullish and bear market, typically a bullish or bear market lasts about 8 years. This band on the daily chart lasts almost exactly 8 years. Right? So if we went back, and I'm going to go to the S&P 500, and we're going to go back down to 2008. 2008 was bad, but it probably could have gone a little bit worse had it gotten really, really bad. It didn't make it all the way to the edge of the infinity band. Matter of fact, it just kind of shrugged it off, got the second deviation, and then bounced from there. So it could have actually gone a whole lot further. And this whole long rise that we've had recently, that was it saying, hey, I don't want to break past the center of this guy, and that's where we bounce. In our view of the Apocalypse band, if we brought it back down to Apocalypse, looks like basically we were bouncing off nothing, but nope, we were actually bouncing off the center of the infinity band, right? So that's one more band bigger, and when we release the new website, the Infinity Band calculations will be there for you guys who like to use the indicator to the lower danger zone for each one of the guys. Infinity will be added to the list as the next bigger band out there. Along with Infinity being added, we also added one smaller than Scalp and smaller than Money. Now I'm going to actually turn on Atlas. Atlas, let's see, Atlas. There we go. And for you guys, it may show up as Arbitrage Atlas 4.0. Basically, I got lazy and decided, okay, I was going through to make sure vetting everyone was where they were supposed to be, and then I was running out of time Friday, so I just copied over 4. So 4 is now has 10 written right on top. So you guys are all good. Just in case you guys do not have your names right inside the arbitrage trade system, basically rollouts are really hard for me if I don't have the right trading view name in me. And so like 8,000 plus members, there were about 344 that basically didn't get the update because their names weren't in there. So if you think your name isn't right, just go and check for me under your profile where it says trading view user and update that. That would be awesome because it basically saves me a whole lot of back and forth when we're rolling out new changes. All right. So let's go to Atlas now. So I'm going to turn off 10.0 and show you Atlas. Atlas, we took out the middle line, and we did that for a reason. Basically, it was to clean it up and basically stop people because people were trying to make decisions and seeing it over, like if they had the bands on, they were seeing the line inside of Atlas. It was just adding another line to their screen. Along with that, we added these X's and pluses. So the X basically, so the biggest problem that people have when they're trading the system or trading this system that I've seen is basically we are stubborn. When we're in a trade, we want to basically always win. And basically, if there's something else that doesn't pop up to tell us, like a confirming something, we typically stay and then wind up somewhere over here when we're supposed to be in the sell. It turned red. If we missed those dollar signs, we're somewhere over here. We're like, oh, it'll keep going. No, we added X's to let us know because everything is based on the compass line. Anytime the compass line actually gets a positive slope or gets a negative slope, every time it changes, you will get one of those X's. So basically, the instant it turns from being positive or negative, you get something else on there showing you that, hey, no, the compass is actually saying we're going up. Or if the compass gets there too fast, you'll see a plus. So if we're going up, it'll say, okay, no, the next candle after that has to come down, right? So basically, I'm trying to put as many visual cues to prevent you from trading in the wrong direction for too long a duration. So some people, they were getting in and they're like, okay, I'm going to play until I get a dollar sign. If I didn't get a dollar sign, I'm just going to wait. And if one didn't come and you wind up all the way down here, you didn't leave when it turned red. So you didn't leave at the blue candle. So basically I'm adding another visual stimulus to your charts to allow you to see that. And I'm calling that show bounce. So basically, if you don't want to see those guys, you can turn them off. But if you do want to see it, just leave them on and I'll basically show you when things are changing. They do show up real time, so it's not like they show up later. Those pluses and the X's, they show up real time to keep you as connected to your trades as possible.
So this is for the stubborn trader.
Yes, absolutely. It's like
awesome.
Yeah, if you get in and if you get into a trade and basically you saw it turn green, so yeah, that was your indication to get in, and you don't want to believe that it's actually going down, basically it turned back green. Like if you were in down and it turned back green, basically you wanted the dollar signs, they may not have shown, and this is letting you know, yeah, we're going to get some pullback, it's going to go sideways, it's no longer going exactly in the same direction. So this is a daily chart. So you were literally wasting in this window of time that we're looking at from here to here, you made no money, and that was almost 21 days. So it's
basically you're erasing the frustration of a bad trade.
Correct. And that is the goal. It's always easy to get into a trade, but it's always really, really hard to take profit because that fear of missing out. It keeps you in and makes you stay longer, and then you wind up giving back when you had opportunity to leave, and it was clearly you got notification telling you it was time to leave. So between the dollar signs, between the X's, between the pluses, They're all there to basically get you out of the trade safely, right?
Yep.
Along
Hey,
with
Royce.
that, we've added the infinity band here. So basically, if you wanted to see what's going on big long term, that's still there. So like, for example, S&P 500 on the daily, all the way in 2011, it said get in, and you would have been in until we had that crash on roughly at the beginning there. And you would have seen the dollar signs and everything up top saying, okay, this is your area to leave. Make sure you leave. Right?
And then you have a little X right there that says, you better leave.
Yeah, pretty much. If you didn't take your hint from the dollar signs, the X is there to let you know that it's going to get worse before it gets better. Right?
And then the other little green X is, hey, okay, the worst is over. Let's get back in the game.
Exactly. That's exactly why we put those there, to make sure that like I said, a lot of people need that extra vote of confidence, that extra vote of information, a little visual cue to say, okay, he turned back green and I got a green X, great. Same thing if you took profit anywhere along here. So this was a tremendously long ride, right? So this is 2011, right? And you had opportunity to get in and get out. Just like you don't want to miss out, if you see a green plus at the bottom, that means we should be going back up, right? So you have multiple opportunities to re-enter trades along the way. All right. All right. Also, inside this guy, what else do we add? Oh, we added the infinity band to the range as well. So if you guys aren't familiar with range, if you missed about a month ago or so, I released, I think, 8.0 of this. All the even numbers are the major releases of the system. So basically, for example, if I go infinity band, it basically lets us see the range of what's going on the minute chart, so we can see where the bottoms and where the tops are and where we should bounce off of walls. So this is the infinity band of the 1 minute chart showing and overlapping the 5 minute chart, so we can see the entire ride, and if it's going, if it's a small or if it's a long time trend, right? As you go up in time, it looks like it's right on top of each other, but you can also still see where even at the 1 minute chart on the daily, the infinity band is still saying, yep, that's the top, yep, that's the bottom, here we go. So it basically shows us where our borders and our edges are, so that way we know which way the market is about to go. So just using the infinity on the 1 minute chart, I'm expecting a market bounce somewhere around here. I'm expecting to find support around here and go back up, by the way, guys. So if you're trading inside the regular stock market, be aware that is what I'm expecting, just based on us being able to see the infinity band on the 1 minute chart on the daily, or the daily chart with the 1 minute infinity band turned on, right? Also, we tweaked the trend line formula just a little bit to extend the lines out for you guys. So let's see. Give it a second to draw and render. Trend lines actually calculate and find points on the chart. Did I extend it to? I want to say I extended it to infinity. If I did not extend it to infinity, my apologies, and I will release another version, or a patch to this version. Or maybe it's just that. Did I turn it on, actually? No, it is on, and I have it by candle. But, all right, we'll come back to it. I will see. We have Show Z. Show Z basically shows, because Atlas is becoming very, 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 very crowded. If you see all the different pieces that it has to it, right, it scrolls even. TradingView has actually limited the number of things that I can put into Atlas, so some things had to die in this version, but don't worry, it didn't really die, just basically part of it died. So instead of having the A and the Z, you just get the Z. So when it's a bottom, you're just getting the Z to let you know where the bottom is and where the top is. So basically it's a big long-term top or a big long-term bottom. It basically marks it with just a Z. You don't have the A and the Z. So you don't have the open and the closed. And we had to do that in order for me to add the infinity band to this guy.
So the Z is the top and the bottom, and the X is just entry points and exit points, right?
Basically, it shows you where, like, for example, a market bottom. Basically, it's saying in the system there are 10 bands, and it's saying that all 10 bands have ran out of probability. So this is the most likely spot that the trend will turn around and have a major turnaround.
Gotcha.
Okay. No problem. All right. Okay. So in here, we also have alerts. Like I said, it's got Atlas is getting a little bit crowded. So we had to actually adjust a few things in here, but we were able to even keep all the alerts, even if we weren't able to keep everything else. In here, in Atlas, you have the arbitrage bottoms and tops. A bottom and a top are the yellow and black dots. Actually, they're yellow and red, I believe. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Things change colors, depending. So anytime you go out of your range, so anytime you run out of probability, it will mark it on the chart for you, right? So, and I believe if you actually, did I give this guy the ability to go dark? I do not believe I did. In the version that's one past this, because every time I release a version, I'm always working on the very next version. Atlas will be able to go dark too, and the dots change colors to green and red when you're in dark mode. But the alerts, a lot of people, when they're playing with the system, they basically, they want to know what is like the magic bullet of alerts to configure, to turn on, to make their trades more successful. In the very last release of the indicators, we did this little trick. And so let me turn on Atlas again, and I'm going to set this guy to, okay, so he's set to Apocalypse right now, right? So how this guy works is, as long as we are above, and let me actually go down to the right band. So we have what we call a pulse alert, because basically pulse is the pink line that sits inside the Apocalypse band. So anytime the band turns green or red, using that guy, we only will enter a trade. And let me turn off some background so that way you can see what I'm showing you. Deviations, basically make it as clear as we possibly can. So a pulse alert, and there are the trend lines. Yeah, it took a while for them to draw, but they are there. All right. So basically, all the trades that happen as long as we are above the pink line. So basically, this going green, until we go above the pink line, we don't get a notification. So if I had my alerts turned on, and I went to Atlas, and I said, okay, show me a pulse buy trend. A pulse buy trend is basically when the candles get above the pink line and the band is green. If all those are true, it tells me to get in. Any of the red ones, it totally ignores. So basically, all you're trying to get is the dollar sign. So from green to dollar sign or plus or whatever that tells you to leave, you can leave. Otherwise, every time it turns back green, it lets you know you can get back in. So literally you can, as I call, milk the cash cow all the way up, because every time it turns back green, and as long as it is green, you can keep riding it back up and playing off those smaller bounces that were showing you where you can get back in all the way up, right? So a pulse alert prevents you from playing counter the trend. Trend lines. And it's basically to keep you trading in the right direction. Because once again, you're trading with the trend if the band is green and the candles are above that pink line. And basically, we're trying to make sure you stay with the longer term trend. Okay? So a pulse buy or a pulse sell, as long as we're above the pink line and the band turns green on whichever band you're set to inside of Atlas, it'll alert you that a new buy trend is starting. And same thing with pulse sell, as long as it's below the pink line and whatever band you're set to, when it turns to red, that lets us know that a sell is going on, and you can put your sell stop in place and do that. Also, those bounces, just in case you want to alert off those bounces, notice there's a sell bounce here and there's a buy bounce here. So those X's that were showing up on there, if you want to alert off that, you can alert off that. And I haven't set them yet to basically be based on the pulse, but we can set that in future releases. Let's see, what else did I add here? Z open and window open and close are still there. So basically, if you were using the alerts previously and you think that, hey, it's gone, I didn't see it, just know that the alert is still there, but the visual cue may not be anymore. And that's just because basically they only allow so many variables when you write an indicator, and I'm apparently too over the limit at this point in this one indicator. All right?
Because you're a genius.
No, I wouldn't say all that. I'd say blessed maybe, but not genius. I know people way smarter than me. All right, so let's go on to the next thing, right? So we're introducing now something called Arbitrage SR. The SR is called support and resistance. Support and resistance basically takes arbitrage and puts it on steroids, right? What you're seeing here are support and resistance lines, but it's multi-time frame. So you're literally looking at the arbitrage band on all of the different time frames: weekly, daily, hourly, 2 hour, 1 hour, 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour, 30 minute, and 15 minutes, all on one screen. So it literally doesn't matter, because typically the questions always is to me is, Royce, what time frame should I be playing, right? So instead of having to ask that question, we made an indicator that it doesn't matter which time frame you're on, right? Because basically it's showing you where the center of the arbitrage band is on all those guys to let you do that. But the same is true why it stops there, right? You can actually turn on which ones you want and which ones you don't want. And for example, everything that we've been telling you so far has been based on that pink line being above or below that pink line, right? So what if I can show you guys the pink line on all those time frames? So the first one that it passed on this guy, the 15-minute broke support. Then the 5-minute, actually, is that right? No, that's not right. The 1 and the 5-minute broke support. The 15-minute is darker on purpose. So this is the 15-minute pulse line. So this is the 1 and 5 that were up and above it. And this is, as it's breaking support and breaking down, you can literally see it cross over or under every single one. Typically, how I play the system, or how I suggest that you guys play the system, if I'm using the 15-minute chart, don't have all these guys on. You'll just confuse yourself, right? Have the 3 most near you. So if you're on the 15, have the 15, the 5, and the 1. Anytime you see the candle break above all of them, that's where you enter the trade. And you stay as long as it doesn't break back under the thickest line. So you're on the 15-minute, stay on the 15-minute. So that guy's thicker. And so literally, as long as it holds the 15, you're riding. The point at which it broke back under all 3, that's where you go short in the market. And on the 15-minute chart, that was roughly 9:15 on Friday. Actually,
that is
Friday?
Awesome.
So that was Thursday, my bad. So yeah, when it was sitting at 340, 349, 350, it said basically go short the market and you win. And as long as we're underneath, Now we're trying to see if it's going to find support on this 1 minute. And basically, that's just a 1 minute. It has to get back over to 15 minutes to get back into a longer term trend. If you had on the Apocalypse Band, no, sorry, wrong one. Show band. All right. So if you had on the Apocalypse Band, you see where it broke under the 15 for you and basically began that longer term downtrend. Right now, it's trying to hold support on the 1 minute. But if it breaks support again, guess what? We're going down again. So support and resistance is really, really nice. And like, say, for example, like I said, I usually use 3. So if I switch to the hourly chart, the same is true. I take the 3 closest, turn off those 2, and now I'm just doing basically making sure that it sustains and stays above. And this time the governor becomes the pink line of the hourly chart to let me know that I have support or I'm breaking my support, right? So as long as we don't break support, we win. If it does break support, then basically we have to move up in time frames or accept the fact that the uptrend is over. So that's where we are with support and resistance, right? So this is on the 2 hour. Let's go all the way up to the daily. Going all the way up to the daily, once again, all I do is shift my focus. If I'm on the daily, these 2 go on, these 3 go off. And so now I'm looking at the 2 hour, 4 hour, and the daily together to see where we are. It breaking back above. So basically, if you didn't ride back all the way from the March 24 rally and you didn't get back in once you got back above the pink, if you waited, you would have been able to get in this at 302, 304, and you still made over 15 to 20% return the rest of the year if you got out over here. And typically we did get out over here because I literally called it on the 24th, telling everybody to leave. So if you were able to ride, then great. But basically this allows us to, if you're not using the bands and you're just wanting to use these lines to help you, as long as you know what's underneath the cover, you can. Same thing is true. Like, for example, if you're using it in conjunction with Atlas, it also gives you just some more perspective. Something else you may or may not notice, I'm set to advance on this band, and because I'm set to advance, the center line that I erased out of the Atlas indicator becomes the center line that we see if I'm set to advance on Atlas. So a lot of things we like I said, this was a complete rewrite. TradingView changed their editor for the scripts and gave us a version 4. And they are asking us to upgrade and update because the old versions will not work soon. So basically, this was a complete rewrite to get us on the right page and get us to stay in the game. For some of you guys, you'll notice that the colors have changed slightly. They changed the color palette. That wasn't my doing. So, like, for example, I'm going to show you guys Z now. All right. Turn off top bot too. So I'm going to show you guys Z. Z is, hold on, we got a couple questions in chat. All right. Okay. Yeah, SR is available, but SR is at a different level, Jason. All right. But there is a pro version that's coming out. Basically, once the pro version is out, I will lower it to the novice level. So there's another version even on top of this that's coming out that should just, yeah, turn your head completely once you see what it can do. But yes, I'm not going to get ahead of myself too far. All right. So next thing I'm going to show you is Z. Z, as it is, there are now technically, okay, Z 2.0. 2.0 is not out for everyone as of yet. Bands and Atlas got released. I haven't finished rolling out Z to everyone yet. In Z, there is a new thing called Spot. Spot basically, let's see. Okay. Spot basically lets us know where the sweet spot in the trade is, where we're expecting to see big candles, right? So if I turn on spot, spot basically goes from one sweet spot for a sell trend to one sweet spot for a buy trend. It sits literally right between a strong buy trend and a weak buy trend, and a strong sell trend and a weak sell trend. Literally, there's a spot where basically every single time it hits the spot, it turns around. And if you're watching this, you will see literally the candles turn around as they make their way up and then turn. Quite literally, you'll see it turn around every single time. It's like a second hand in a clock. All we're doing is basically measuring where it is and being able to turn around when we expect to turn around. Spot is awesome if you're scalping. Like literally, it's like, okay, yep, that was the most I'm getting out of this trend. Next. Because while it's on, you can literally see yourself, like if I have scalp on along with this guy, literally, we see it touch a ceiling, take our profit. Literally, and all we're doing is waiting for it to get back to where it's a low point. If we're trying to just play up and then ride up again, and then ride up again, and then ride up again. It's literally there for whichever way you're trying to play, just wait for that sweet spot to hit its absolute low, and then you ride every single bounce into profit. Right? So, all right. So that's coming, and that's basically that should be out before the end of the day today, and that's regular Z with spot there. All right. So I'm now going to add the next Z, Z combined. Z combined says, okay, you guys may have seen this. Some of the people who are at different levels says, okay, basically Z, the indicator itself, it's like a house at the casino. It's literally telling you your odds of winning or losing. In statistics and probability, there's something called a Z-score. So basically, the Z-score says if you give me a number, I can tell you your probability of you winning or losing. So literally, probability trends as well. And knowing that probability trends, we can actually see when we actually go into an uptrend to take advantage of that uptrend. So this is on a higher time frame. SR is currently set to advance, and Atlas is set to advance. So if I literally turn this guy to just have advance on, it should show me exactly where my probability first told me I could get in this uptrend. And notice we are above that pink line at that point, and then we just ride. Z combined also has the ability that says, okay, you know what, Royce, you told me there are 10 bands in the system. That's great, right? I should be able to, if I want to see them all, so basically if I turn off the show combo, it shows me the pink to match the pink line that we're watching, right? So if I turned on RSI, if I turned on Arbitrage, if I turned on Novice, I have all these other bands that I'm watching their probability, and that can become a little cumbersome, a little meddlesome, and basically for me trying to interpret what's going on in the system. Well, with Combine Z, we say, okay, show combo. Because basically it says add them up, divide by however many you got, and guess what? Tell me where all of them says it's safe for me to get in the water. Oh, it got me a little bit sooner than the event? Great, let's ride. Right? So that's combo Z. And of course, we still have regular Z. Regular Z is always regular Z. You can't combine that into it. Otherwise, you're doing double counting and you'll mess up your statistics. But Z primarily is my forecast. No matter what time frame I'm on, I usually have Z turned on. And so combined Z lets me say, for example, I don't want the whole story. What if I just want the smaller time frames? What if I'm just scalping? What if I just want those? If I'm just scalping, I'm on a 5-minute chart, just tell me where I can get in, get my little money. It says I ran out of probability. Guess what? I'm leaving. And then do it again and again and again, as long as I'm above, right? So it's literally to help keep you trading in the right direction. And if I'm set down there, I can technically set this guy now to scalp as well. And if he set down a scalp, then I should see all my scalp lines telling me, hey, that's where we should have started playing down. As long as he's down, basically at all these tops, we enter for more down, right? So I'm going to get rid of Combine Z now, and I'm going to add Z Pro. Z Pro says, okay, that's great. We see what you did. We understand why you did it. Let's add on top of that. Z Pro says, okay, for example, I've told you guys previously and in the past, do not ignore scalp on the daily time frame, because scalp on the daily time frame usually tells me where I'm going and what my forecast is, right? So now I can show MTZ, and I say, okay, I set it to scalp. I don't need a second screen. I don't need another view. I can literally say, oh, the S&P 500 went red as 825 on the 4th. I shouldn't be in here anymore. I'm sitting on the 5-minute chart, but I see it clear as day at the exact time that it said, do not be in the trade anymore, right? And you also have the ability to keep on your regular Z as well, and also see what's going on your 5-minute time frame if you wanted to just have your regular scalp on. So this is if you're following. Let me reset. Make charts a little bit more readable, right? Turn off SR, just for sanity's sake. So it went red. So you should have been playing down to begin with. And 5-minute chart saw it way before any other chart saw it. So you saw it. You were able to monopolize on it. Basically, it was saying that on the daily, your scalp was sitting at the edge and the top of probability, so we had to come down. So all this red that's happening had to happen because we were on the edge of probability on the daily time frame. And so this pullback is a direct result of that, right? And as long as we're in the red, guess what? We're only playing down. We shouldn't be playing anything else until this guy changes direction. So between Z telling me that we should be playing down, the band telling me we should be playing down, I also have Z Pro telling me if I was trying to be more conservative about playing down, it got me in before the big sell-off, right? So there was definitely money to be made if I was playing S&P 500 this way, right? Okay, now let's go and let me show you some more stuff that we have. Inside this system, we also have something called TSB. TSB stands for top, sideways, and bottoms. Top, sideways, and bottoms lets us know what's going on with the market in general, right? So basically, top means I'm in a buy, right? As long as this guy is sitting up, he's in a strong buy trend. Whenever that buy trend gets weak, he goes to neutral. If it goes back strong, it goes back strong. And literally, when it goes to down here, you're actually getting nothing but down candles until it flips itself back to up, and then you're riding up again. Just like with all the other bands, you can literally set it. For example, because we have spot, this is a scalper's delight, I want to say. Anytime you see it go up and it's above, that's your first indication that you could actually be playing an uptrend. And as long as it's saying up, for the most part, you're in an uptrend. Anytime, so this is a 5-minute chart. If you see this guy stay out here for 4 or 5 candles, yeah, you're not doing it right. So basically, you should see it oscillate, but literally every 3 candles, you should be checking on is it time to go or not. If we see it just hovering up, just keep on riding, right? If that's too noisy for some, you do not have to play at that level. Typically, I tell people to set it at scalp. And basically, once again, if you're setting that scalp, you get to take advantage of the scalp up and the scalp down. And you catch it, literally, it's a toggle. It's an up, it's a sideways, or it's a down. The market is always in one of 3 phases, and this oscillator just lets us know which phase. If it's basically going sideways, you'll see it's going sideways. Let me find some place where it actually went sideways for a minute. That typically does not happen for long periods of time, and at this scale, I can adjust up let's say I'm going to put it like at intermediate, right? So intermediate, all of that, it was just sideways. It did nothing. It was basically doing nothing, and you can see it was doing nothing. When it said it was time to get back in, it tripped you off, let you know, and and you were able to just ride. Basically, once it topped, you see it go back to sideways. And typically, how I play this, if I'm using a bigger band on TSB, anytime it's more than 7 candles sideways, I'm taking profit. You also had that plus there to let you know if you were looking to take profit. If you had the band on, which band are we set to currently? I think we're set to advanced. All right. If you had the band on and you had this guy on, you'll see that he was getting close to the edge of the danger zone, and you'd see that basically down was coming. If you had, show danger zones. There we go. You will see that basically he was reaching the edge of the danger zone too. And there was definitely indication that you could have left the trade somewhere along top and basically kept most of the money, right? Best practices are whichever band you're set to, all of the other candles are set in the way that basically lets us know. So basically right here is where it tripped and went back sideways from being in an uptrend. And typically a long uptrend is nice and long. You can see that it's nice and long. This is a 5-minute chart. So this is about a 2-day up that you could have been able to ride. And as soon as you saw it went sideways, don't be there. Wait for it to make a decision about up or down again. It chose down, and we ride down. And as long as it stays down, you stay down. Notice it didn't go back up, and it still hasn't gone back up. So you had lovely pockets to be able to say, okay, I'm going to catch this one. Okay, I'm going to catch this one. And basically, we're just trying to make you guys a little bit more efficient with your time and the use of your time. If those yellow or orange and blue bands are annoying you, I typically do not like to have them on. You can go in here into your settings, and you can turn both of them, turn the opacity for both of them to not show at all. Let's look back some more questions. All right. I see you, Jason. I see you. What here confusion on the now it's supposed to handle. Okay. So this TSB is at the intermediate level, and SR is at the intermediate level. Let me. There are 2 more that are at the intermediate level. Let me show you those real quick as well. All right. So now we're going to go on to sustain. Sustain is an indicator that we have. Basically, it's trying to tell us if the trend that we're watching will be sustainable, right? And sustain basically is measuring the actual motion and momentum that's going on in the system. Anytime it's above the line, it's the color of whichever line that you have on. So since we have RSI on, it's black. But if we went to advanced, it would be pink. So that way we could see basically if there was any chance for up, you can actually see it there. So basically once it went back down, we see nothing but red. We see nothing but red. It's literally measuring the actual momentum of the candles on like a scale to see, okay, based on how much up and how much down I got, tell me exactly where the trend has changed and changed direction so we can visually see it. Sustain basically lets us know if the trend will sustain its course and stay that way. It changes with the change of each band, and just like with spot, if you're playing really, really close to the fire, you can get some little ups, and basically these little ups on spot, like on the daily or something, act like Elliott waves. So basically every time you see it pop back up, you should see another bounce, another peak, or another wave begin like an Elliott wave. So basically it hits a little and then does the next one, hits a little, then does the next one, right? So sustain is there to basically also let us know what's going on. I use sustain on the daily time frame to let me know what my forecast is going to be. So if I have TSB on and I'm on spot, this lets me know that guess what? We should have an up week in the market. Guess what? He went red here. We should start seeing down in the market. Spot literally lets us know and gives us almost a 3-day forecast of what's going to be happening next if you're paying attention to it. It basically lets us see what's going on in the trend and be able to make a judgment call. Yes, it's going this way, or yes, it's going that way, or no, it's not going that way, to make sure that we stay in. If, for example, at this point, we say, okay, it looks like it's topping, but the first thing this guy does is pop up. Guess what? He popped up. Ride. Right? As long as he's in set to the up position, you ride. You see him come out of that position, you leave. But spot is awesome because, once again, if it's doing the next 3 candles, what's to prevent me from going to a weekly time frame and going, you know what? Market's about to rally. Okay, let's ride. That's at 301, and that's all the way to dollar signs. Right? So spot is awesome if you can use it. And it's in the new Z, it's in Atlas, and it's in the new 10.0 version of the bands. All right, let me go on to control. Control, I typically use control with sustain. They look a little bit alike, so I'm going to try not to confuse you guys with it. Arbitrage control, let's see, where is it? There are too many versions. There we are. All right. So control basically lets me see when something like this happens. So let me turn off some stuff to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to even turn off the candles. All right. So sustain basically lets me see when this pink line gets into the danger zone, will it stay there? Will the pink line continue on, and which one is moving faster? Because you guys may not realize it or not, but the pink line is moving at a different speed than the band. The band and the pink line are moving at different speeds. That's how the band actually gets to the top of the band, the pink line gets to the top of the band and gets to the bottom, because both of them are moving and they're moving independently of each other. Control lets me say, okay, let me first get to the apocalypse band, and then I say show band. As long as the red is engulfing the pink lines, the band is moving faster than the trend, and it's sustainable, right? So with that being said is, so there may have been some times, let me go actually now to the daily. You might be able to see it better on the daily, where basically he was just, and we're like, okay, he should fall, but he just kept on going and he kept on going. Basically, what allows him to keep on going is that the band is moving faster than the pink line. So instead of us having an opinion about what's going to happen, we can actually see that, no, as long as the band is engulfing the pink line, the band is moving up faster than the pink line is moving. So this guy can technically go on indefinitely, right? So all of this engulfing allows the band to pretty much move faster. All of this engulfing allows the band to move faster than the pink line. But once again, the pink line is now moving faster. So now it's gaining on the band again and gaining on the edge. So we should see it getting closer and closer to that danger zone. And that basically lets us know if a crash course with the edge of the band will happen or not. Because, like, for example, if you were playing down, you're like, oh, this guy has to go down, and he has to go down a long time. He doesn't, right? As long as he is, as long as the band is moving faster, yeah, he doesn't. So I'll show you. Literally, we got all the way up here, and this is the 2008 crash. All throughout 2007, I'm gonna get rid of this thing just to have a little bit more real estate here, right? All throughout 2007, he was in that danger zone and he was all the way above, which means he was on a crash course, which means all of this has to be eaten somewhere, right? So basically, once we got a below, we saw it engulfing, and that basically said, okay, we're slowing down. And then once he actually got completely below, we went into a full off sell off, right? So this might be a little bit advanced for some people, but basically all you want to know is basically anytime you see that he's on top, don't expect down. If the band is ever encompassing, do not expect down, because basically the band is moving faster than the pink line. And that works for any time frame. So if I'm using the arbitrage band, same rules apply. The arbitrage band is moving faster than the RSI line, so we will not get down as long as he is on top. So it prevents us from making mistakes about which way we think it's going, because like I said, as long as it's encompassing, you won't get down no matter how much you want. All right. Gonna get rid of that guy. And I think, hold on. Atlas, that guy. Loop, I did update as well. Loop is one of the first guys that we got our first patent on. Loop basically tries to predict what trend is going to happen next. And taking that same bit of logic and then applying our spot formula to Loop, it lets us see when we're going to get turnarounds, but they are really, really quick. But on the daily, it really doesn't matter, because guess what? It told us we were getting up, we got up. And until the loop closes, which means until red gets on top, we get no down. So let me turn back on the candles, right? So as long as he's pretty much on top, all we're doing and all we're expecting is more up. The moment we see that basically red is prevailing, that's where basically you're expecting more down to happen, right? So there are down candles and stuff that are happening, but it typically foreshadows before it happens to let you know that it is coming. Basically, all of these indicators and all these new indicators and all these new tools are to let you know, and basically the further they get apart, the bigger the down you're expecting, by the way. So doesn't look like the market's in a good spot right now, but we'll see where we land. We'll see where we land. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, and we'll see if it sustains and keeps going this way. Okay, that's it for the new indicators. The new website will have all these additional things factored into the new formulas. We're trying to get that out this weekend. We ran into a slight problem with our payment gateway. So basically it's probably going to be next weekend or sometime during the middle of the week, but we'll let you guys know. I will catch up with you guys later. Enjoy your trading week. I'm actually not even sure if the market is open or going to be open today, or if they're open, I think there's going to be some additional fees that they're going to be charging depending on your broker. So good luck with your trading, and may you guys have a blessed week, and we will see you next time. Thank you.